Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, What We Know for Sure. There's so many things I want to talk to you about, but I thought that today I should start with COVID-19, as it's something that's all of us are experiencing. We're all currently in the midst of this globally. It has affected almost every country in the world, and even during the Second World War, we were not this affected. We have had countries shut down, the economies and borders over this virus. What is this virus? Let me give you some background. There are 12 deadly viruses out there in the world. We have to remember humans have been battling these viruses since before our species has evolved. The first virus is the Marburg virus, identified in 1967. The first outbreak was in Germany. This is similar to the Ebola. People developed high fevers and bleeding throughout the body, leading to shock, organ failure, and death. The mortality rate when it first broke was 25% of the population. The second, the Ebola virus. This was identified in 1976. This is spread through contact with blood and other body fluids from infected people or animal. The biggest outbreak in 2014 in West Africa. The third virus, rabies. This has a vaccine and has had it since 1920. It spreads via animal. It destroys the brain, and if you don't get treated, you will die. Fourth, HIV, commonly known as AIDS, the deadliest virus in the modern world. 32 million people have died from HIV around the world. It was the first identified in 1980. 1 in 25 adults have HIV in the African region, and 2/3 of the people around the world live with it. Number 5, smallpox. Mortality rate were far higher in populations outside of Europe. 90% of the Native Americans died from smallpox. It was introduced to them by the European explorers. We don't realize it, but it was huge. It was a huge burden on the planet, not just in death, but also caused blindness. We have a vaccine and eradicated it. Number 6, the hantavirus. It was identified or gained attention in the US in 1993. This was not transmitted from person to person, but rather contracted disease from droppings of mice. It affects the pulmonary arteries. Number 7, influenza. During the typical flu, up to 500,000 people die worldwide. The most deadliest flu we've had is the Spanish flu. It began in 1918 and sickened 40% of the world's population, killing an estimated 50 million people. Number 8, the dengue fever, or the dengue virus, transmitted by mosquitoes. First appeared in 1950s in the Philippines and Thailand. 40% of the world lives with this disease. Dengue sickens 50 to 100 million people a year globally. We have a vaccine for this, but it only works if you've had it in the past. Number 9, the rotavirus. We have vaccines for this. Causes severe diarrhea, but among kids, mainly babies and young children. In 2008, 453,000 children died from this. Number 10, SARS-CoV. This causes severe acute respiratory syndrome. First appeared in 2002. It had spread to 26 countries, affecting more than 8,000 people, killing over 770 over a 2-year period. Number 11, SARS-CoV-2, commonly known as coronavirus, belongs to the same family as SARS-CoV. First identified in December 2019. This is now called COVID-19. Estimated mortality rate as of December, 2.3%. The symptoms, fever, dry cough, shortness of breath, and then into pneumonia. Number 12, and the last virus, the MERS-CoV, sparked in the Middle East in 2012, and another in 2015 in South Korea. This belongs to the same family as the SARS-CoV-2, known as coronavirus. The symptoms, severe pneumonia, and has a mortality of 30 to 40%, making it the most lethal of all the coronaviruses. I listed the 12 deadliest viruses earlier to give you an idea that there have been and are many viruses around the world. It is important we understand that. The world was hit in the early 20th century with the Spanish flu in 1918, and then again by the Hong Kong flu in 1968. At this time, the world came together and we had a lesser population globally as well. As of today, we have over 10 million cases worldwide of COVID-19, over 500,000 deaths globally. The leading country most infected is the United States, followed by Brazil, Russia, India, and Great Britain. What do we know for sure about the virus and how it will end up? We don't. No one knows. Everyone is speculating. Politicians, doctors, and scientists, we are all speculating. All we must do is be the responsible human being. Take precaution. Wear a mask as not to infect or get infected. Wash our hands and practice safe distancing. In times like this, we should all come together, not focus attention on our individual rights, but more on all our health rights. Only together can we control this virus and have it so we can all go back to our previous way of living. In my opinion, we will end up living with the virus. We just have to change our behaviors for all concerned. Like anything, it will become second nature to us all. What I know for sure, if we don't start taking precaution, we would only lengthen our closing of borders and daily routines. Health is wealth. That should be your mantra. We should be repeating that. Health is wealth. Without health, none of us have anything. We have no human rights, we have no voice, and we won't have the ability to go outside and do the things we take for granted or have taken for granted. This will not be the last virus that affects us or infects us. If we don't come together and work as a collective to protect each other with COVID-19 or against COVID-19, how are we going to stop anything worse that comes our way next? I urge you, the listener, to read everything you can out there about this virus and make your decision on how you help your neighbor by wearing the mask. Do not listen to the politicians who have their own self-interest at heart to win an election. God gave you a brain to think for yourself and help your fellow man. Do it with understanding the pandemic. The beauty of the modern world, you have the information at your fingertips and can see how it's affecting every country around the world and how it's surfaced, and make your decision. Do not let politicians divide us with their rhetoric, as they are here today and gone tomorrow. We, the people, have to handle our lives and our economies. We do that by helping our neighbors and being considerate. I end this by saying what we know for sure is health is wealth. United, we are stronger. We can end this by doing it collectively, protecting our fellow neighbors by us all working collectively, wearing a mask, being considerate of the other, and uniting to rid COVID-19. So I end this by saying, again, our mantra, and my mantra will always be, what we know for sure is together and united, we can be stronger. And as we, the people, should always remember, politicians and economists have their own self-interest, but as human beings, we should protect each other. Thank you.